In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The leader in talk radio on the internet. Right here on K98 Talk.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president will...
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And you're listening to the Vito and Vito Show live from the basement of the Empire State Building. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The basement. Check us out at www.vitoandvito.com. For network listings, go ahead, give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vito and Vito Show. And allow me to let my co-host explain what you are listening to. God bless you for sticking by. We're having some tech difficulties, but we should be up ready to go. Go ahead, Vito.
We're bringing you the perspectives of two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York. We're committed to defending the principles of free markets, freedom, liberty, and individualism. Vito, we hold no punches here on the show.
No punches here on the show. I love Ayn Rand. Speaking of conservatism, objectivism, and libertarianism.
I'm a Reagan devotee.
That's right. As you can see, we got a little something here for everybody on the program. Now, being that we're college-aged adults.
Or just overgrown buffoons.
That's right. We're going to let ourselves have a little fun here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That means sex jokes.
That means lots and lots of sex jokes. That's right. Bringing with us some immaturity to the conservative movement.
If you're looking for political correctness, you've definitely come to the wrong show. We're going to say a few things off color, but that's just who we are.
That's just who we are, baby. That's just who we are. The Vito and Vito Show from Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
Vito, what's on the agenda for tonight?
Well, first off, I want to say, I bought a disco ball.
Yes, you did.
I went to the store.
You got a disco ball. Hold on. You're a college-age kid.
Mm-hmm.
You go to college, surprisingly, and you wound up getting a disco ball.
Look at this thing.
Look at this. I know, it's amazing.
We're gonna get the Periscope app so people can watch us do this thing.
You get naked.
Well, I'm gonna have to put on a toga or something. But we got the disco ball, and I donated to breast cancer and got a wristband. Vito, look at this. Hashtag boobies make me smile.
All right.
Do boobies make you smile, Vito?
Oh, Vito, boobies make me
like
smile.
boobies.
Yes, they do. Now, speaking of boobies, we got a presidential candidate coming on the show here tonight. It's going to be great. We got Mark Everson. He's the former IRS commissioner, and he's got some pretty controversial stances that I'm going to go ahead and ask him some tough questions. I want to hear just what his response is. And we also have a representative from Arizona, Congressman
Paul Gosart.
Paul Gosart coming on the show.
Right. He's been making some news with the immigration, a few things we got down in Arizona.
That's right. And the housing and urban development issue. That's it, Vito. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The teleprompter stopped.
Yeah, teleprompter. Listen, speaking of teleprompters and the man that uses them, Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Barack, oh, damn.
We got it.
He would... This moron. I'm talking about the President of the United States. That's right, this moron. You got to hear the power grab. This man is unbelievable. Wait till you hear what Paul Gosart is going to talk about tonight when he comes on around 8:30. But we do have a very special guest. I'll be calling in just a little bit. But I want to preface with the idea that, yes, we got a presidential candidate coming on the show. Wayne Dupree, shout out to him. He had like Donald Trump last night. Tonight I think he has Rick Perry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We got Mark Everson.
We got Mark Everson coming on.
We got Vito and Vito. We don't need Donald. Okay?
Vito's hair is real.
Yeah, I don't have to pay for a toupee. It's all natural.
Listen, but it, War Radio, which is our flagship station here.
Mm-hmm. We Are America Radio.
We Are America Radio. I mean, it's bringing some powerful guests.
I know. He's gone back to back.
Uh-huh.
Rick Perry and the Donald.
I know, but look at us. I mean, we're also getting presidential candidates. So you have newsmakers and shakers going on here at War. It's pretty
Look
cool.
at me.
Look at me. Look at me. Little Rolling Stones reference. That's right. We love the Stones here on the show. But Vito, Mark Everson, now he used to be a former IRS commissioner.
Mm-hmm. Which means immediately I don't think I like him.
Yeah.
No
Give the people some background.
Former IRS commissioner, and now he's deciding to run for president. I know he's worked with Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
Under that administration.
Yeah, George W. Bush.
So you see this guy coming out with the other 3,427 people that decided to run for president, including my mother.
Vito's mother jumping in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, did she jump in. She actually knocked out Jeb Bush on the way to the podium.
Jeb Bush actually came out, raised millions of dollars. Did you hear that?
I know. He raised over $100 million. Jeb Bush raised over $100 million.
Unbelievable.
So I want to ask somebody like Mark Everson if he has, how much money has he raised? What's his story?
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to be able to compete with something like this? Because, Ted Cruz's super PACs have come out and said they raised over $30-something million. Now, they said that, and we're going to look into some reports to verify some of this stuff. But Jeb Bush, he's raking in a lot of money.
Jeb Bush did.
That is intimidating if you're running for president.
Even on the other side with Hillary and Bernie Sanders, over
not
20
as much.
million. But a lot of money in this campaign, right? You got Donald Trump, who wipes his ass with millions of dollars.
My man, I like him. I do.
He's funny.
Read his book, The Art of the Deal. It's a great book. You should. I think that's why he's running, just to plug his book, The Art of the Deal.
Really?
But he's got something, like I said, like last week. He's a bull. He's charging through the field. Everybody's talking about what he's talking about, and that's what I like looking at.
Because it's controversial, because everyone kicked him off. Mm-hmm. They were no longer going to do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care. I'm rich.
Well, but you see, these are top echelon candidates, meaning that these people are always in the media. What about other people? What about Mark Everson? Who is this guy? Where did you find him, Vito? This gentleman running for president.
Well, I was trying to pay my taxes.
Well, you're trying to pay taxes, and we got him coming on right now. Sorry to cut you off, Vito.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on, sir. And I'm sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties. We have Representative Paul Gosart coming on later on, but we want to speak to you here for a moment, sir. And I got to ask you, you're running for president in 2016. Could you have picked the worst time to run? Everybody's running. Vito's mother is running for president. You got everybody and business people. Why this time around?
No, I think that it's just the opposite. I think that with a fractured field and nobody really gathering momentum, this is exactly the time when a non-traditional candidate like myself, we usually pick our presidents almost always from 150 senators and governors. And it's hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What I offer is great private sector experience. Guys talk about manufacturing. I've actually run a factory. I've lived and worked in Turkey, France, and Zambia, and a lot of government executive branch experience, not the Congress, running the agencies, working at OMB, all of that. And I think that this is non-traditional. I think most people are pretty fed up with politicians, and the fact that there are so many candidates, I think that if I can get my name recognition up, this gives me a real path. So I think it's a great time to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to give it to you for running, but I got to say, sir, you call yourself a constitutional conservative, and I want to ask you some tough questions, and I hope you don't take offense to any of this stuff, all right?
Listen, I got to tell you something. If you run the IRS, you testify 50 times before Congress, nobody likes the IRS. I'm used to getting some questions. It doesn't really get me too mad. So go ahead.
All right. Well, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. You said on your website that Congress should fix the Affordable Care Act. That's a direct quote from your website.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Should it now, as here on the show, we've called for the repeal of this law. We've said this law needs to go. This is a bad law. Do you agree that the Affordable Care Act is a bad law? And if you don't, why should we fix it?
No, I think it's bad, so I would correct it. And I think there are a lot of things, but there are certain things that are embedded in there that people like the care for the people up to 26 and the pre-existing conditions. There's a whole bunch of things in there that have become established. And my own view of this is that at this time that it's going to be extremely difficult to unwind it. It's been embraced by a lot of the insurers and the medical companies. So what I suggest is, you correctly write, is that we fix it. And I think there's an opportunity to do that now. The president, who's been very stubborn, some of the things that people have wanted to do, the one that I always talk about, gentlemen, is the definition of the work week is 30 hours instead of 40 for full-time work. I think we should raise that because we've gutted the part-time workforce between 30 and 40 hours. Maybe he'll open his eyes now and make some changes because, as he says, with this latest court victory, he feels it's secure. Well, it's secure only in part. He's got to start improving it. So there's a host of things, and I mentioned a couple on the website, that, yes, Republicans need to change. I think you could actually pick up some Democratic votes and do some of these things, like the redefinition of the work week. I would like to see us do things on tort reform. I'd like to see us be able to have insurance sold across state lines so there's more competition. I'm very concerned about the premium increases. And frankly, I live down in Mississippi. There's a lot of concern about the high co-pays, and there are indications that some of the patients are not getting healthier because they're not going in to get their care, and they're flooding into clinics, not-for-profit clinics. So I'm not sure that it's all working as well as, or I don't think it's working as well as intended. So we've got to fix it for sure.
Okay. All right. It's a fair answer. Don't know if I agree because I have someone here that wants to repeal the whole law. But, because again, a lot of our audience feels the same way. So how are you going to be able to persuade people in the conservative I like to call it the conservative primary because conservatives come out and vote in these primaries. So how are you going to be able to persuade a lot of these people, myself included, and other conservatives listening to the program, that this is the best recourse, that this is a better alternative than repeal? Will that sell?
Well, because I think, first of all, gentlemen, it's going to be very difficult to retain the Senate this go-around. As you know, there are many more Republicans up for re-election than is the case with the other side. So I think the idea that even if you get both chambers and then a Republican in the White House, the making dramatic changes in the sense of repealing, that'd be a pretty tall order. And frankly, I remember reading something about a year ago that said the medical industry, the companies, had outperformed the Dow Jones by 2-1 since the passage of the Affordable Care Act. So they've got some pretty entrenched interests. I think that they're going to be working very hard to control the Congress on this. So I'm not optimistic about some scorched earth repeal. I think that the court, and by the way, I do not agree with the court decision in this, in the Burwell case. I think that this is an instance where what I don't like about it, one of the themes, you ask, how am I going to play with the conservatives? I am a constitutional conservative because I have a record of implementing the law as written, not as I might wish it to be. And we've seen nothing but granting of more authority to the executive branch in things like, look at the Iranian, the Corker-Menendez statute, where now the Senate's only got the Senate has to get 2/3 to reject what is in essence a treaty, as opposed to the president having to get 2/3. It's a total cession of power to the executive branch. And in the court case, it just came down. What the court basically said, if I understand it correctly, is, well, Congress messed this up. They didn't write this statute well. So we let the executive branch fix it. That grants huge authority to the executive branch. I don't think that's right. If a Congress has written a poor statute, the court should just send it back and let the Congress fix it. So I am concerned about overreach of the executive branch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's something that you make in your campaign, is the overreach of the executive branch and sort of the tyrannical nature of the president, which I agree with you 100%. I think the president has been either abdicated or by the Supreme Court, abdicated by the Congress or by the Supreme Court's radical interpretation, has grown in size that is not bound by the Constitution, and they basically just write up this position for the president. You make it a point to say you're gonna make it a point to repeal to scale back the size of the presidency. How would you do that?
Well, what I say first, I'm the only person running who's got a real track record in the executive branch. All these governors and senators, they have very, very limited experience in the executive branch. Chris Christie was a U.S. attorney. That's actually a fairly low level in the sense of the pecking order of the Justice Department. Very important in New Jersey, of course, but in terms of the way the department runs, different order. Ted Cruz had a very short period in the counsel's office. I've been in the White House budget staff. I've been in the foreign affairs community under Reagan, at Justice under Reagan, worked for Ed Meese, and then, of course, running the IRS under Treasury. So you've got a basis to say Everson runs it down the middle, and the president shouldn't be making the policy. In most instances, we leave that to the Congress to set major policy changes. The president executes the law. That's the start and the end of it. And the president has great powers, very real powers, but they are limited under the Constitution. Practically speaking, I think that would show up in terms of a reluctance to necessarily write new regulations. The use of the veto pen, we've had very little use. President Bush almost never vetoed anything. He was well into the second term before he did. And you've got to be willing to do that, frankly, because when you're running a branch of government, and this is a reason why I've said I'm only running for a single term. I say that the Oval Office gets way too political because it's not just the president. The president's going to make the best decisions, I think, but up and down the line, from the GS-15 all the way up to the cabinet secretaries, they start to worry by year 3 about the reelection prospects. Mm-hmm. And they say, geez, I just got here. Am I going to have to move back to Pittsburgh and disrupt my family? I better make sure we win. And I saw that in the Reagan administration, which was very different from the second Bush administration, but it's a constant theme. The American people should get somebody who's just making decisions on the basis of the national interest and understands that we have 3 separate branches of government and that bring back checks and balances. So that would be the approach I would take. I also, frankly, am very concerned about the consolidation of power into the West Wing. I've run pretty important pieces of the government, the immigration system and the tax system, and I understand that operational decisions have to be taken by the operators, not by some kid in the West Wing who's telling some cabinet secretary what to do. So I think that approach is good. All these czars that have gotten set up, this president is taking further than his predecessors, but it's been a steady trend. That's not healthy. I'd like to see the White House staff be quite a bit smaller, frankly, get more things handled out where in the agencies. The other thing I would do is I would work very, very closely with the authorizing committees in Congress, finance, ways and means. They're the tax writers. Right now what happens is you get political deals cut between the West Wing, the Chief of Staff's office, the Speaker's office, and the Majority Leader's office. And that doesn't make for sound public policy.
All right, well, you bring up immigration, and you once you were part of the immigration team with Ronald Reagan, under Ronald Reagan. And you make a big point of your campaign, amnesty. Again, Mr. Everson, a lot of conservatives don't like amnesty. How do you plan on winning over the conservatives in the primary?
By having a frank conversation about it. I think that right now, obviously, there's the horrors of San Francisco. This is a terrible event. The sanctuary, this whole interplay between the sanctuary policies of the city and everything else. We can't have those kinds of things happen. We've got to deal very firmly. I say this quite clearly with the criminal aliens. The border has to be secured. Absolutely. No doubt about that. I know a fair amount about this. I deported tens of thousands of people. I ran that system, including the detention and deportation. I don't shy away from the deportation at all. I understand what it takes to secure the borders. At the same time, we need to have the interior enforcement. A lot of people don't understand. The reason the 86 Act failed was because it was poorly drafted by the Congress to allow a good faith exception for employers. All they have to do, just like a bartender looks at a driver's license and sees that it's phony, if it appears legitimate, he may let the kid drink. Well, the alcoholic inspectors are pretty tough on the bartenders, but we haven't had that dynamic in the workforce because somebody shows a driver's license and a Social Security card, they appear legitimate, then that person goes to work. What bringing in E-Verify will do, making that mandatory, that will choke off future illegal immigration. You won't have the same magnet effect of people coming here to get jobs. So what I suggest, once you do this, and I would also change the legal system at the same time so that you're bringing in people who can contribute. Or somebody, if we've subsidized somebody's education, well, for goodness sake, and they're a trained physicist or somebody who can contribute economically in the IT area or whatever, then we ought to, have a benefit for them to be able to stay here. I'd rather have our system of legal immigration geared towards our economic growth rather than family unification. So when you do all these things and you choke off the illegal immigration and you get the border under control, you're left with these millions of people here. And I am for providing the pathway to citizenship for those who've been otherwise law-abiding outside of their immigration status, if you will. And I say that for the very powerful reason that we need to reinforce our tradition of assimilation. Look, I've lived in Turkey, which has gone steadily Islamic since I was there in the early 90s. I've lived in France, which does not have the tradition of assimilation. They are not coming to grips with radical Islam. If we're going to be successful in this ideological struggle that is going to be with us for a long time, we need to reinforce our tradition of assimilation. So I want all these people all in for America. And that's the basis really on which I say that. That and the fact that, practically speaking, having run the system, the idea that you're going to suddenly ship these folks back who've been here decades, they've got the entrenched ties in the community, their families, I just don't see it happening, frankly, either for societal reasons or for the economy. So that's I get it. This is not a popular position for me, and it's particularly contentious now.
I see what you're saying, Mark Everson. We're having a tough time all day saying that, by the way. Everson, yeah, we're having a tough time, me and Vito, but we figured it out. Mr. Everson,
You'll get it.
We'll get it, my man. Where can we find you on the internet? More about the campaign.
Well, it's Mark with a K, Everson, E-V as in Victor, E-R-S-O-N. And you can Google that, or people can go to markforamerica.com, and they'll see my positions.
All right, Mark Everson, thanks for coming on the program. We really appreciate it. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we
it didn't bother me at all. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Mark Everson, running for President of the United States, former IRS Commissioner. Vito, what do you think?
Can I say he's not conservative?
I don't know if he's... I don't know. I don't think he's very conservative neither, honestly. I think he makes some good points, but I don't think he's conservative.
Good points for president.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna win over I don't know if he could win over the conservative base. I don't know. I mean, we're checking out chat room and we're checking everything, and people don't seem to be like they're all in favor of what's going on here.
The amnesty kind of got people.
The amnesty got people a little thrown off. I think, and he's making a central point in his campaign. I appreciate his honesty. I give him that.
Absolutely.
He's a very honest man. I'd love to have him back on to talk more about the campaign. But I don't know, Vito. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know if this guy's got it. Listen, we're going to break. Let's go to break right now. When we return, Paul Gosart coming in, talking to us about some immigration stuff. And what? When we return here with you.
Guess who's number one? Guess who's the number one political talk radio on Live 365? You got it. War. Guess who can't stand it? The liberals. This is War. We are America Radio.
We may be surrounded. We may be outnumbered. We may be outgunned. But we'll never, ever stop the fight. Not while we're behind enemy lines on We Are America Radio. Wednesday night at 10 p.m. War.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You are listening to War Radio. This is where we assassinate liberal lies with documented facts and obliterate moderate Republicans who want to join their side. We are America Radio.
Here we are, the Vito and Vito Show back. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. For more information, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vito and Vito Show. Again, the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Vito, Congressman Paul Gosart coming on the program in just a little bit. We had some tech difficulties before, but he's coming on in just a little bit, and he's going to talk to us about President Obama and HUD.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear President Obama, remember the IRS? Remember the president using different federal agencies to push his agenda? This is what we see happening, Vito. We see a president that has gone off the rails. Tyranny at the mark here, ladies and gentlemen.
President Obama wants to, quote, diversitize communities.
Let's bring him on right now.
Utopian look about how each of our neighborhoods looks. Your neighbor, how much they make, what gender, what racial features they may have, and dictating and taking away local planning and zoning directions from local people and local government. So this is another reach of the federal government in prime style.
Absolutely, we see that the tyranny keeps continuing with this president. And to jump over, you made more news. You put out another statement that also dealt with the EPA. Now, this was happening in the House. You blocked an amendment that tried to block your rider that stops the EPA from using appropriated funds for the water of the United States. Can you also get into that? What's happening over there?
Absolutely. The water that we have is, particularly within the state, the subsurface water and application has been a state's right. And the EPA has decided that they're going to expand their jurisdiction over the water, even when 4 Supreme Court rulings have defied them to do that. This is trumping legislative action. If people don't like that law, they've got to come back to Congress to instill a different law. But what this basically does is starves the beast for money and not allowing any money to be used to further their expansion and rule making of waters of the U.S. that belongs with the states and local municipalities.
Hey, I mean, it's federal overreach, Congressman.
Oh, absolutely.
This is what we see.
Absolutely.
It's a president that has gone rogue. I mean, they like to say that Sarah Palin's, they make fun of her for going rogue. This president has gone rogue. And in the statement you put out, Fox News here, I'm reading it off of Fox News. You wrote, just as the president has used the DOJ, the IRS, and DHS as a political weapon, he's now expanded his arsenal to include HUD. I mean, that is, first of all, that's a quote right there that I'm going to tweet out there, Congressman. Okay?
Absolutely. And if you can kind of take a look at this is the king of community organizers getting after it, telling you the food that you can eat, the water you can drink, the house that you can own, the car that you can drive, and the school that you can attend. This is the sense of the word of community organizing.
I mean, isn't it scary? I mean, look, you're there, Congressman. You're in Washington. You get the gist of the Republicans establishment, and you get the gist of the Democratic establishment. Is our leadership fighting for this? Do we see Speaker Boehner screaming at the White House steps about this tyranny that's going on at the hands of President Obama?
We don't. We don't see, a strategy. We don't see us fighting back. We don't see an offensive punch. We play defense time and time again. When you have a big bully on the street, you usually beat a bully by using teamwork, using the very, very best that you have within your conference. But yet we still have a leadership that has more to do with the Democrats than they actually do with the conservative members of the House. Take, for example, the TPA, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Senate Democrats got what they wanted, House Democrats got what they wanted, but House conservatives, they didn't get anything. They got kicked in the gut. These are things that we have to start looking at. And then when you also look at the Supreme Court, now we have 5 or 6 men and women in white robes telling us what meanings of new words are and changing definitions, and then also defying our Constitution so it's a illicit framework. You combine that with not having the rule of law, where you have attorney generals going off rogue instead of supporting the rule of law and supporting the Constitution. They defy anything and everything unless it's the law that they want to uphold. It's a mess.
I mean, it's unfair, and it's a slap in the face, not just to the states of this country, but to the people and conservatives when the Republican establishment, turns their back on the people. And then you have the supposedly our leaders, like you said, in white robes, that completely just rewrite our Constitution and do whatever they want. But Congressman, let me ask you this, right? Now, you bring up a great point. I want to talk about the Republican establishment a little bit here. You seem to be fighting against the grain here.
Oh, I do.
Is this hurting you? Is this hurting you politically? Is this hurting you and your friends, or whatever it's called? Because you're standing up for something that we support you here.
Well, the thing about it is you elected me to be a fighter. I'm a dentist impersonating a politician, and that's what we need more of. Our framers wanted people from different ways of life with different visions and different aptitudes. If it's worth fighting for, it's worth fighting for with everything you got. That means you have to have a strategy, you have to have a goal, and you also have to hold people accountable.
That's it right there. Gotta hold people accountable.
There's got to be consequences.
Congressman, it's people like you stepping out there, fighting and holding people accountable. And I tell you, we appreciate that a lot. But let me just, as we wrap up our conversation here, I want to ask you this about this whole HUD issue. What's the next step? What do we do? How do we stop Obama from using this now as a part of his political arsenal?
So what we do is we make sure that the House or the Senate passes the same type of application in their budgetary aspects, and when we go to conference, that these are instilled so that they can't spend any money. That way, what you do is you at least get through the year, and then we also have this in a bill form that requires the federal government not to be able to do this period as an agenda item. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that everybody listening out there that wants opportunity, wants to dream about an America where if you work hard and play by the rules, you've got opportunity and choice, that you can make something of yourself and have the advantage of becoming more astute, having more options, and having happiness and a better paying job and a nice life. To start calling their members of Congress and their senators, and let's make sure that America stays the opportunity for everybody.
Hey, Congressman, just to let you know, my co-host Vito here is also a dentist. He's what we call a Brooklyn dentist. He ties string to your teeth and he slams the door. That's how he got my cavity out of my mouth.
Well, here's what I do. I think there's an advantage about being a dentist. We shouldn't be in such problems in Washington, D.C., but if it takes pulling teeth, I'm happy to pull teeth. It's just that the bureaucrats don't get any anesthetic. So, there's something that prevails about that.
There's the campaign slogan for you, Congressman.
Congressman, thank you for joining us here on the program. Real quick, where can they find you on the interwebs and on social media?
You can go to my website at gosart.house.gov, Gosart for Congress. You can go look us up and give us your comments. Get involved and make a difference. The one good thing about this veto is when there's greatest disarray, there's always the greatest point of opportunity. Here we are. This is an opportunity to have a template. And how you put what effort you put in and the ideas that you get behind will shape the future for tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Congressman Paul Gosart. Sorry for the technical difficulties, sir.
That's okay, Vito. It was fun talking with you guys. We'll hopefully do it again.
Awesome. It was a pleasure. Congressman Paul Gosart here on the Vito and Vito show. I got to say, Vito, I like this guy a lot.
I do.
I like him. We had a little moderate taste in the beginning. I got that, that thing in the back of that tongue, that
rhino.
Yeah, I got that. I didn't like it.
You got a case of the rhinos.
Did not like it. Then we had a little congressman come on, a little conservative bam wham. I feel good now. The adjectives I use on this show are just utterly insane. Listen, we're going to go to a break in just a little bit, but here on the Vito and Vito show, we want to let you know that we do have our Forget About It moments of the week. We got Twitter Fan of the Week coming up, plus Ariana Grande telling you straight out how much she hates you, America.
And licking donuts.
And putting them back on the rack. The Vito and Vito show when we return.
We may be surrounded. We may be outnumbered. We may be outgunned, but we'll never, ever stop the fight. Not while we're behind enemy lines on We Are America Radio, Wednesday night at 10 p.m. War.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead. Some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org. Brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Guess who's number one? Guess who's the number one political talk radio on Live 365? You got it. War. Guess who can't stand it? The liberals. This is War. We are America Radio.
And we're back here to the Vito and Vito show. Check out www.vitoandvito.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. At Vito and Vito show. Vito, it's that time of the week again. It's our Forget About It moments of the week.
What? Forget about it?
Forget about it.
Oh, forget about it.
This is the time here, ladies and gentlemen, on the show where we like to take some of the craziest moments in politics and we like to throw it at you when we like to say, my God, that really happened in the world. Did that really happen? And I say, hey, pal, forget about it. It really happened. Just forget about it. Keep moving on in your life. If you reflect on this, you're going to go crazy. Vito, first Forget About It moment of the week.
Bell away.
We got a bell here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to utilize it throughout the show.
A few props here.
Forget About It, number one moment of the
Vito,
week.
don't you hate when you have technical glitches with your computer?
Oh, I can't take it. Today, this whole show was a tech glitch.
So don't give us crap for this, because the New York Stock Exchange had a few technical glitches yesterday. They stopped trading. We missed the show a little bit. It's all right.
It is what it is. So yeah, but they said Anonymous, the group Anonymous,
That's right,
like the day before, put out a tweet or something on.
They're like, wouldn't it be a shame if the New York Stock Exchange had a terrible day? Mm-hmm. And then boom, technical glitch.
Unbelievable.
Same thing with the Wall Street Journal, the website.
Really?
And United Airlines had some technical problems.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're the hacker group, Anonymous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Not the flash mob Anonymous. Listen, Vito, number two, Forget About It moment of the week. I told you I'm going to use this. Go ahead.
According to ExposingTruth.com, a gay man is suing for $70 million over Bible authors that apparently the Bible violates his constitutional rights, and he's emotionally distressed.
Okay, all right. I don't know how many times we're going to say this on the show. We got no problem with gay people. We got no problem with gay marriage, matter of fact. We are libertarian. We don't even think the government should be involved in a lot of this stuff. But if you're gay and you're crying because what happened? Because of the Bible offended you?
Yes, these authors about the Bible saying that being gay is a sin.
My brother, are you kidding me?
Emotional distress. You're going to have emotional distress when I'm away for this weekend.
Oh, you have no idea. Vito's going away to some campus reform convention in Washington, D.C., and he's going to cover things and pretend he's, busy. I'm going to be emotionally distressed. But now you got some guy, $70 million, he's suing a Bible publishing company?
She can sue over anything in this country.
This is bizarre. This guy is trying to get away here with murder. $70 million because he was offended. Let me tell you something about being offended, pal. If you're offended because I might say something the wrong way, why don't you go home and cry to your mother? All right, how about that? Let me tell you something, pal. We all get offended. Everybody gets offended every day. Look, I make fun of Vito. Look, he's a funny-looking guy. He is. That's why he has a face for radio. Okay?
So I'm here.
People make fun of people all the time. People say things that are off color. Conservatives are the most politically incorrect people I know. If you have a problem because you are offended and you expect to sue me, and you think you're going to win, you're a sick person. Tell me right now, what crime is being committed if I offend you? There is none. There is no crime. Let me break it down to you like this. Vito, you ever go to college?
Sometimes.
Yeah, you know when you're not stoned? You ever go to class?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You ever realize that in a lot of colleges nowadays, there is what they call, quote, free speech zones? Like, there are areas, they rope you off. Like how Hillary Clinton...
free zones?
Yeah, all right, whatever. Like how Hillary Clinton ropes off her reporters. Like, you see that, by the way? She roped off reporters like cattle. They give you these, quote, free speech zones where you're allowed to speak freely. Let me tell you something. When I go to my college classes and I deal with these liberal fools, I sit there. You know what I say? You know what I say, Vito?
What do you
say? I
say
say some things off color.
Oh, my.
I say the gays are too sensitive. I go, the gays are too sensitive. Islam's a sick, evil religion.
You're racist.
And I'm a beautiful-looking man. Am I racist?
You're a narcissist, racist. You hate women. You're disgusting.
I hate women. I say, you know what? Maybe women shouldn't run around and claim there's a war going on them because that doesn't make any sense. And apparently I'm a sexist. I disagree with the feminist movement, and I'm an idiot. Listen.
Show them this wristband next time they say that.
Yeah, what does that say?
Hashtag boobies make me smile.
Yeah, you keep wearing that, Vito.
I like it.
That's going to become a staple here on the show.
But hashtag boobies make me smile.
Yeah, well, either way, listen, the point is when you go and you walk around and college campuses, remember, colleges and universities are basically what Plato's School of Athens was, in a way. Remember the painting by Raphael, the School of Athens?
It's on my wall.
Yeah, it's on your wall. Got a picture of Mick Jagger on your wall. We got no.
Don't get me started.
Picture of Ronald Reagan and drag. Listen, no, we don't have. Vito put the drag clothes on the Ronald Reagan doll, ladies and gentlemen. But listen,
we support the gays.
Yeah, right. But what do you see? Colleges and universities. They are descendants from Plato and Aristotle, from the homes of philosophers that would basically sit and talk about these things. The university system, all of this, Yale and Harvard, and even your small town, local community colleges, even those are descendants of Plato's school, of Aristotle, the education birthplace of philosophy and reason and things like that. So when these college campuses in America, contemporary United States America, these liberal hellholes, these liberal indoctrination centers come forward and tell me that I'm not allowed to say things like Islam maybe is an evil religion, or hey, guess what? I don't agree with Karl Marx. Or hey, guess what, pal? I'm not a big fan of President Barack Obama. Hey, guess what, pal? The feminist movement is a load of feminist crap. That don't make any sense, by the way. I just wanted to use feminist twice in the same sentence. But the point is, once you disagree with the majority opinion in a university school, in a system like that, you see how the left tries to attack you? They try to shut you up. They sit here, and they give you, quote, free speech zones. Free speech zones. That is bizarre.
We just got that whole rant from you just because a gay man suing a Bible author.
Because people get offended too easily in this country. Shut the hell up and laugh at yourself. Imagine Don Rickles. Remember what a great comedian Don Rickles is? Just imagine him today. He would get sued up his I'm not going to say it. But
his ass? Say the word.
He would get sued for things like this. He would have to come out.
Speaks censorship.
Yeah, good point. The FCC is watching me.
Oh, please. Beat this.
Easy. Don Rickles would have to pay fines. Andrew Dice Clay would have to pay fines. Eddie Murphy would have to pay fines. All the great comedians. Bill Cosby would have to stop drugging women. I mean, it would get out of control here. Can you imagine this, Vito? I'm going to have to stop paying fines. This is bizarre. But you know who's a moron?
Who?
Let me tell you. Vito, give us our last forget about it moment of the week.
Ariana Grande.
This girl's an idiot, Vito. What did she say? Tell the good people.
Apparently she took a donut, licked it, and put it back, which got me pissed.
Yeah, great.
And then she said...
That's what bothered you.
Then she said she hates America.
Uh-huh.
Another freaking Hollywood, another celebrity, Disney star, where the hell she came from, hates America. Because America's terrible.
This is what I don't get about the left. This is what I don't get about these stupid liberals, especially Ariana Grande, who's not bad looking, by the way. I mean, she's sitting on my lap right now as we do the show.
You break like a twig.
She's on my lap, Vito. Be careful. Don't offend her.
She's going to fall off.
She's going to fall off?
She might break her hip.
Watch this. Well, she fell. She's that skinny. She needs a little She
might eat the donut.
She might. Oh, come on.
What?
She's lacking something.
Yeah, weight.
Oh, you like big women, Vito.
Well, no, not like I can see her ribs. Come on, she's like tiny. She got no TNA.
She got no TNA. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Look that up, by the way. TNA here in the Vito and Vito show, breaking the mold, one sex joke at a time. Woo. Listen, but this girl's an idiot, you know. And she's a self-described liberal Democrat. I think her brother is gay or whatever. So she's like, oh my God, I love gays, and that means if I love gays, I gotta love Barack Obama because he's a champion for gay rights, even though he changed his position on gay marriage. I don't know, 20, 30 times in the past hour. This moron is gonna run around in the country that made her. Gave her the tools and the resources to become what she is today, a capitalist free society. She's going to criticize our country? She's going to criticize the principles that made America? Another fool. Another moron. She hates America. I hate Republicans. I hate America. I hate this. That's what she means.
Gays. They hate me.
She's a moron.
Like Kanye West, the other one that says America's too racist.
That guy's an idiot because he's the same guy that says, George Bush hates black people. That dumbass. I mean, you got a lot of dumb people in Hollywood, Vito.
You got a lot of dumb people in general.
You do. Mm-hmm. You do. I say we're pretty smart, but it takes me a while in the morning to get dressed. Yeah, and then it takes a while here. It does.
You put your socks inside out.
You know what I don't get neither? She's the same one. It's like Michael Moore. That's what she reminds me of. She reminds me of Michael Moore. Ariana Grande I'm talking about. Like an idiot. Like a moron. Because Ariana Grande walked into the room and she says, I hate America, right? She licks a donut, puts it back, takes the donut, shoves it up, I mean, this woman's an idiot, right? Because she's just disrespecting America and what America stands for when she comes out and says something stupid as that. She even I hate Americans because they're so fat. That's the meaning of her... Why she said it. She came out with an apology, by the way.
America's fat?
No, that America's so fat. So that was the concept of what she was, the context, what she was talking about. And I'm like, that's a load of...
It still doesn't make sense.
Still a moron, whatever. But, nope. But either way, she reminds me of Michael Moore. Someone that comes out, will look at you in the face, will tell you how bad it is to be an American, how bad it is to be a capitalist, how bad of a country and how bad of a people we are, how morally eroded we are as a country, and then these are the same people that after they trash America are going to use whatever America has to offer these people to get what they have today. Michael Moore got rich because of capitalism. Ariana Grande got big because of free speech and because she has the right as a person, as an individual, to sing like an idiot.
Some songs are catchy.
I don't like her. I like her for other things. I don't like her for her singing.
Sick person.
I don't really... Why?
She looks like she's 12.
What easy guy. Come on, she looks like she's 12.
No TNA.
No, I don't know.
Please give me a break. She's like a 12-year-old little boy.
Oh, easy. Listen, Michael, calm down, all right? Go moonwalk over there.
Please, did you hear that she's so cocky? I thought you were cocky.
I'm pretty bad.
Okay? I'm used to some big egos. Okay? Like, I gotta sit across the room, your ego's so big.
I know. It's hard for me. We had to actually change the door frame in the studio because I couldn't get in with my big head. It just couldn't fit. Yeah.
A bunch of hot air. She apparently hires people to carry her because she doesn't want her feet touching the ground.
Really?
Yeah, because, where I walk is not good enough where she walks.
You know what? I want this moron to go to Iran, and I want her to ask the Shah of Iran, whatever the hell they have there now. Not the Shah, listen to me.
Muhammad?
No! Oh, come on. Be careful.
What be careful?
The Ayatollah. Ayatollah. The Nutella. I want her to go to Iran, get the Nutella of Iran to set up and make, and have her be carried around Iran in the clothes she wears and the music she sings.
Right before she's stoned to death.
After she's stoned to death is right. I want to see her turn around and go to Saudi Arabia and have her get in a car. She can be able to get in a car in Saudi Arabia. She hates America so much, Ariana Grande. She hates America. I hate this guy. I hate Americans. I'm going to lick a donut, put it back in the bowl. You're an idiot. Why would that even cross your mind? I hate America. You could say it. You have a right to say it, but now it's like burning a flag. Why would
you have a right to be an idiot?
Again, you have a right to be an idiot in this country. You have a right to be stupid. You have a right to lick a donut and put it back.
Sometimes we shouldn't have that right. Idiots.
But now, because you have that right to disagree with the principles of this country, it's sort of hypocritical when you blast those principles. Don't make any sense, doesn't it?
That's the best.
Again, you have the right to do a lot. You have a right to burn a flag. You have a right to do a lot of these things. You have a right to say you hate America. But Ariana Grande, question for you, sweetheart. If you hate America so much, explain to me why is that you're still living here. Explain to me why is it that you don't go hop over into England or something. Why don't you go live in Greece? That seems like an egalitarian heaven. Right, Vito?
Yep.
I can't stand people like this. Ariana Grande and these Michael Moore characters.
Kanye.
Kanye West, all these
idiots.
people. These people are fools. I can't take any of them.
But they never have, like, legitimate reasons.
I'm beginning to twitch now, Vito. Exactly.
Get the
no
stress
legitimate...
ball.
Yeah.
That's
not a stress ball.
America's so racist that a black man can become so famous and an icon of a genre of music.
Uh-huh.
They say he's a genius.
Who's
Kanye West.
Oh, Kanye West.
Yeah, people love him, right? People idolize him.
Okay.
But America's racist.
Yep. It's these bizarre statements thrown out by these liberal entertainers. Ariana Grande, I hate America. Kanye West, George Bush hates black people. Go down the list. Michael Moore, what did he say? American hero Chris Kyle is not a hero. Snipers are cowards. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Go down the list of bizarre leftist statements, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll just see how not only hypocritical the left is, but just how blatantly stupid they are when they argue their points. They don't know what they're talking about. And they insult what it means to be an American.
Mm-hmm.
They take advantage of these rights.
That was the best hypocritical when they said that, what's his name, was a sniper is a coward. But then they praise when the traitor gets traded to come home. Remember? Bergdahl.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
They praise this, we leave no man behind, except for, Tamarusi, Mexico, and other people in Iran.
Because they follow, liberals are funny. They're like sheep. They just follow the herd. They follow the herd. Whatever Barack Obama and the DNC is throwing out at these people, they're like dogs. They're just going to follow. Liberals are dumb. They don't think to their logical conclusions.
They're a pawn. They're being played.
They have no clue. Okay? They have no clue.
My mother said she might vote for Hillary, and I flipped out. I was like, you're a pawn of the Democratic Party. I went off on her. I didn't eat for 3 days. She didn't cook.
I didn't eat for 3 days.
She got pissed. And she's actually kicked me out of the house. But nonetheless, my mother is a pawn. My mom doesn't know. I'm going to teach her. I used to go in the voting booth. Don't tell anybody because it's probably illegal.
Can you say it to all of our listeners over the air?
So, mute us for a second. When I was a child, I would go into the voting booth with my parents and make them vote Republican.
Great.
Yep. So I voted for, technically I told them to vote for Bush twice and McCain and Romney.
So, there's our National Crime of the Week. That just about wraps up our disaster here, known as the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com, for more information, network listings, and our articles. Vito, from the anal ward of the basement of the Empire State Building.
We can't afford the first floor.
We can't afford the first floor, ladies and gentlemen, let alone the lobby. The Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.